Great. Well, thank you guys all for coming today and good morning. I just want to tell you it's National Avocado Day today, so hence my background. So happy National Avocado Day. Guacamole Day is in, I think, September, so it's not Guacamole Day yet, but everything else with avocados. So they have healthy fat, so that's why we're promoting these guys. And so today we're going to do hacking meal planning. So it's part 2 of the 2 and just 20 minutes. And so we'll try to keep it at that as long as I don't talk too long. And so Kimberly's always good. So she's with me here. So we'll get started. So I'm Andrea Nicolai, and I'm the one on the left there. And I work with the University of Florida in the extension in Polk County. I'm the Family and Consumer Sciences agent. Kimberly, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being on with us for our second session of Hacking Meal Planning. My name is Kimberly Bragg Armitage, and I work for Hillsborough County Extension as their health and nutrition agent.
All right, so just quick housekeeping things, I guess. If you don't use Zoom that much, thank you for trying it out to be here today. So there's controls, like if you hover over the bottom, you can see them, and you can always put something in the chat. And there's a ... right there, and it says more, and you just click on it, and if you have any comments or questions, you just type them in there. And so it should be, then you just hit enter, and then it'll show up for everybody, so you can look at other people's and what they kind of put, if you would like. So we have an evaluation following this one, and so just if you could do that, that would be awesome, because then we could get feedback, and then we'll know how to do this better. Like I was reading them from last week, and even some people are like, you guys talked pretty quick, and so, you know, this could be a longer one, you know, if you wanted. So we're trying to talk about that. Kimberly and I did, just if we could, streamline this one today, and then if not, you know, do it longer, I guess, next time, so we're learning. All right, and so meal planning one-on-one. So this is what we did last week is on the left, and today it's prepping fears conquered. And so it's things like going shopping, prepping tips and tricks, getting creative with leftovers, and then backup meal solutions. So, and goal is to keep it fun, right? And so just overview from last time, I have to say too, you know, I was just rethinking, you know, why we are doing this, but the idea is meal planning, it really can save you time, it saves you money, it saves you food waste because you're not running to the store multiple times, and you're not throwing away food because you have it planned out. And then you would save money because you know what's on your list, and you know what you need and what you don't need. And so this is all good things. And plus, you know, sometimes like when we don't have a meal solution, we're like, oh, let's get takeout, you know, or something like that. And that can save you money too. And also it's proven that people eat better when they eat at home. So those are just some fun things. So just remember, you're number one, you're worth doing this for. And then you're worth thinking about the My Plate too, you know, trying to get fruits and vegetables on there even in those days when things are hard. So it doesn't have to be difficult, you know, throw a cut apple on the table, you know, that's great. And so
Andrea, I don't want to interrupt you, but do you have your slide up? Because I don't see it.
Do I have what?
Are you sharing your slides?
Yeah.
I don't see them. Am I the only one?
No, I can see them. You're good.
You're good? Okay, go ahead then.
Okay, you sure?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so then check your inventory first. What do you need to use up? And then plan based on that. So this is just overview from last time. So checking your inventory, that's where we're at, you know, planning what you need to use. And then we talked about a lot last week. So if you didn't listen last week, you can watch the recording, or hopefully we'll do this again sometime. But just picking family favorite themes, meals, and then planning for leftovers, and then you make a list. And so Kimberly, can you see the slides okay?
I can, yes. I had something else up for some reason, but thank you.
Oh,
So the list is really important. It's after we do the inventory, we need to make the list so we can get to the grocery store. So keep in mind that what you have in your refrigerator, your freezer, and your pantry, and you have that list to keep you on task. Remember to always replace your staples. So we talked last week about having a good staple list. That can look different for everybody. So it's important that you know what you and your family like, so you have your staples in your freezer, fridge, and pantry. So then we're ready to go shopping. So let's talk about the shopping. So although shopping in the perimeter is the healthy way to go, there are some unhealthy areas in the perimeter as well, and that's where your list is going to help you. The deli sometimes has that fried chicken at Publix that I love, so you have to kind of stay away from that area, and the bakery as well with all those sweet things. So the perimeter can have some unhealthy things, but as long as you have that list in hand, you can tackle the grocery store in a safe way. Next slide. So comparing prices is important when you go grocery shopping. You want to make sure you're getting the best product for the least amount of money, and that's usually buying the store brands. Check the unit pricing. Watch when you go to the register, because sometimes they don't have everything that's correctly priced. So just kind of keep an eye out for that and make any corrections as needed. Invest in the staple foods. Make sure that you have the tuna, and that you have some sauces and vegetables, canned vegetables on hand. But as you can see in the picture, you can have too many. So you don't want to overstock your pantry, but you do want to have enough staples. I apologize for my dog. Somebody is outside teasing them, I guess. Save money by washing and chopping your own food. If you buy pre-made things, you're always going to pay more money. And then read the nutrition fact labels to give you a healthier choice and a healthier options. Next slide. So I talked about the unit pricing. So which one is the better one? The Cheerios with the 10 ounces or the Cheerios on the 15 ounces? If you're not sure, what you do is you take the price and then you divide it by how many ounces that you have. So as you can see, the Cheerios would be the 15 ounce would actually be a better deal. Go ahead, the next slide, Andrea. So here's how you get the unit price. A lot of times the labels will have the unit price on them already, so you can compare accurately. But if they don't have that little unit price there for you, you can go ahead and do it yourself and figure out which is the better deal. Next slide. So I don't know about you, but I think it's important. Let's see, where am I? Sorry about that. Shopping, when you choose your fruits and vegetables, choose things that are in season. So make sure that you have, that you're getting the most that you can get for the vegetables and fruits that are in season. When they're out of season, you're going to pay more money for them because they have to get them from different areas. So don't go shopping when you're hungry. I don't know how many times I've done this and always regret it afterwards. And then stick to your list. Again, that's why lists are so important, because it doesn't entice you to buy things that you don't need. And if you have that list in hand, then you should only buy what you have and what you need on that list. Next slide.
All right, so this is me then, just again, but just we wanted to tell you too, and just a quick note on the unit price. I love that if you're in the lettuce section at all, I don't know if you guys buy lettuce sometimes. Every once in a while, I'll buy the bag lettuce instead of the head lettuce. And looking at the unit pricing is amazing there, because there's so many different sizes. It's really hard to compare what's actually cheaper, and they look all fluffy and big. And sometimes those big containers with all that, it looks like there's a ton in there, but it might not be a better deal than getting the bag, like smaller bags. So it's just interesting to look at. So that's just one of my favorites, I guess. So anyway, prepping then. So taking it in bite-sized pieces. So one thing just to remember about this overall presentation, even if you can take away one thing, it'll really help you. You don't have to be like, I read articles all the time of people online, like they're the master preppers, they have all this cute dishes and it's all sorted out, color coded, and everything's ready. They just pull it out, and you can definitely do that. But if you want to just even if you could get one thing done, just get some vegetables roasted or something that you could enjoy and have for you, because you can put them in multiple things. So take it in bite-sized pieces. And if you're gonna aim for this, right, so start with the foods that need the most time in the stove or oven. So cooking like dry beans, roasting vegetables, making rice, oatmeal, noodles for the week, doing things like that that might take a while. So one lady, she was saying, she just cooks a brown rice, right at the beginning, and then she'll have leftovers. You can put that with a bunch of different things. And then Kimberly was talking too when we were making this presentation, really doing everything you can in one pan. So then you don't have to wash a bunch of stuff when you're prepping either, because I always visualize sometimes, I'm prepping and there's like 1,000 dishes because you're trying to do all these meals for all these days. But it's not always like that. So you can just use that same pan, and then, you have other things going on in the oven, roasting vegetables, and you can just keep doing sauteing different things in that pan. So cutting all the vegetables, if you can, for meals and handy snack sizes, that is very beneficial. Let the slow cooker help you. So, the dry beans, throw those in there, and then you don't have to worry about them. They're done. Or put some chicken in there and just don't worry about them, and that'll be one thing you have done. And you don't need, like we were talking about, to prep full meals. You can keep it simple, and even small steps like cooking that rice or chicken, chopping some vegetables will help you out a lot. So using one thing multiple ways, I kind of talked about that a little bit, but just, if you cut and saute bell pepper for tomato sauce, pizza topping, tacos, enchiladas, just if it's already sauteed, then you can look in your fridge and be like, okay, all I need to do now is quickly assemble everything for the family. But if you can get just like the vegetables even, prepped as much as you can, usually those, they last a little bit better washed than, I think, in general, than things like fruits. Like berries, you don't want to wash them until right before you're going to eat them. But something like cauliflower or raw broccoli or something like that, and then having some baby carrots or something like that, or cutting some carrots just ready to munch on, or celery. Like I know I was, I'll get to it later, but just people were telling me different ideas for their staple meals. And one of them, a bunch of people said, they mentioned, oh, and if I have any vegetables washed, I'll just grab those. But if they're not washed, I was thinking, like they're not going to grab any vegetables. So the idea is maybe clean a couple things of the celery or something, as soon as you get it, so that you're going to use it. Otherwise, when you're hungry, you're not going to look at that head of celery and be like, oh, maybe I should start cleaning that. So just keep that in mind. So keeping food safety in mind too, we just wanted to talk about that, making sure the raw stuff, raw meat and poultry, separate from the vegetables and fruits and things that won't get cooked. Lettuce, very important. That's but we want to keep you safe especially at this time, right? So you wash your hands all the time, your utensils, cutting boards after raw meat, poultry, seafood, eggs. Just make sure just to wash them again with soap and water, and just to keep you extra safe, okay? And then when you are making chicken, or if you're making roasts or something like that and preparing them for the week, make sure to use that thermometer. And not only does that help keep you safe and your family, but it helps prevent it from becoming overcooked, which is one benefit to the thermometer a lot of people forget about. So it's like, it'll save you both ways. Not only is it helping your safety, a lot of people are like, whatever, I'm fine, I can look at it. But just, you don't want it to be overcooked either. And you can think of it like that. Okay, so I think, Kimberly, take it away.
So prepping ideas are really great because, you can definitely get things done faster if you already have some things already ready. So that's pretty much a good takeaway from the prepping. And then you need to store everything. So it's important that you go ahead and get those containers ready, store your meals, and make sure that they are ready for you to actually make the meals and then store them in. This will save you time. Always date them though. Make sure that you have some dates on there and what they are. Sometimes we put things in the freezer and we might leave them a little longer than we intended to, and they're not labeled, so we don't even know what they are at that point. So we end up tossing them, where they may still be good or still soluble, but we're not going to use them because we don't know what they are. So it's important to label your food and make sure that you have that going. Then we have our refrigerator. My refrigerator does not look like this. I don't know how many people are able to keep their refrigerator looking like that, especially if you have children. Every time I try to clean it, my children decide to rearrange it for me. So it is important to try to keep it organized the best you can. Of course, not looking quite like this. I wish I could, but Keeping it organized. The reason why you want to organize is because you want to find things. You always want to keep the things that are going to go bad in the front, so you can reach for them, you know that they're there, you use them and get them out before they go bad, and then you're stuck with a bunch of mildew in the back of your refrigerator. Also remember that when you're doing food prep, sometimes food doesn't last for 7 days. Sometimes you can't make certain things, you can't prep it ahead of time to make it last for the whole entire week. But some things go bad in 3 days, some things go bad in 5 days. So just kind of make sure you're watching out for that. And those are the things that you don't want to prep with everything else, and you might just want to leave them to when you actually make the meal or put the meal together. Or just keep in mind that that this is only going to be good for 3 days, not for 5 or 7 days, or the 5-day meals might not be ready for 7 days. So just keep that in mind when you are making your prepping and storing, that you do allow for things to go bad faster. Some things go bad faster than others. Prep your freezer and do the couple times per week. So make sure you're going through your stuff and making sure that you're looking in your refrigerator and your freezer for things that are going bad. So in case you forgot about something or you misplaced something, I always tell my family that my refrigerator eats things itself, because I know that something was in there and all of a sudden it's gone. So I misplaced it. A week later, I'll find it and it was hidden behind something else. So just keep all that in mind when you're looking for things to eat and things to use up. Okay, next slide. Andrea, yeah, there you go. So leftovers. When you plan for your meals for the week, it's important to plan for leftovers. So go ahead and already have an idea that if you have this leftover, that you have a plan for it, that there's going to be something you can make with it. Because what happens is, if you have just a leftover by itself, you don't have nothing to do with it, it ends up going in the garbage because you don't put it with anything. We eat a lot of corn. I think my husband thinks corn is the only vegetable that we have. And so we tend to have a lot of leftover corn. So I always make sure that I can throw it into something else, like the shepherd's pie or a casserole of some sort, or even, a crock pot. So I can just make sure that it gets used up, because otherwise we'll open another can, not realizing that there's already been one in the refrigerator for a couple of days. So try to be creative and think about what you can do if you do have those leftovers, or plan for them in your meal planning time. Next slide. And then remember that you can always find something to do with everything. So even if you have, an apple that's got a little bruised or a little darkened, you can always cut that apple up in pieces and make them. I love this apple nacho recipe. I can't wait to try that. So you can always try to get rid of things by using them up. Fruit that's going bad. I have some blueberries right now in my refrigerator. I'm going to melt them down and crush them and put them in some oatmeal. To get rid of them, because they're going to go bad pretty quickly. So always think about that, like, okay, yeah, they may be a little bruised or a little softer than I would like them. How can I use them? What can I do with them to go ahead and make them useful and in my belly and not in the garbage? Next slide.
So I just wanted to talk about some quick recipes using some staple items. So Kimberly and I were talking about, having some staples just ready to go. And these are things like, if you just need a quick meal idea, maybe you don't feel like what you had planned for, or you ran out of time to even do that, or you realized something wasn't prepped yet. Just, these are things you can always grab if you just need them, right? And so I have a running list myself. It's just because, when people, I have people over at my house sometimes, and they'll stay with me. I live in Florida, and a lot of my family's from Minnesota. So people will fly down and stay with me, and then I'm pressured, quick for like a good meal idea. And so sometimes I blank out. And so it's like I have all this food, but I don't know what to do with it. And so just keeping a running list for last minute ideas. And so these are things I usually can make, and then you would have your staple ones for your family too. Ones you can just go to really quick. You just throw it in, it's good. And so here are just a couple ones. This one is called shakshuka. And so just really all it is, it's like eggs and marinara sauce, and it's really good. And I always forget about this one, but if you have a jar of marinara and if you have eggs in your fridge, you just basically, you cook up a skillet, the marinara, you cook that, and then you kind of make wells in there, and you break the eggs inside, and they poach and they cook in there, and then you can sprinkle oregano and cheese and stuff on it, or you could put beans with it or spinach. There's lots of ways you can modify it, but it's so easy, and it's just one, you only need a couple ingredients. And then
Andrea, I think your reminder list just popped up over your slides.
oh, thank you. Can you see it okay now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. And so just, I wanted to get some ideas from some other people. So I asked some coworkers and just some, I have master food and nutrition volunteers. So I asked them and just some other people I knew that had families and kind of the recipes that they use for staples. And here were some of the ideas that I got. And so it might help you guys brainstorm too, just what you could do. And just keep in mind, you know, if you can have that vegetable prepped, that's something that you'll grab. Like, you know, the first one there, it's an egg and cheese sandwich, but just, you know, it's just calling for some vegetables with it. So there's that part of the plate there, and that's where you want to put those, or some fruit or something like that. So just trying to balance it out. And then tomato soup, scrambled eggs is another one people love just because you can throw a bunch of stuff in there. Kimberly could put her corn in there. And then somebody else was saying the rice too, you know, just they have it, you know, that's their staple. They'll just cook up rice and peas, you know, rice and edamame, rice and lima beans, whichever ones they have on hand. And you just have to wash, you know, the one dishes then. Okay, try to get to the next slide for you guys. Okay, so then ideas for some others, like another person said she cooks up a big batch of quinoa, and then so she has a bunch of kids and she'll sweeten it for breakfast, and then she'll have veggies with it for dinner, and then leftover meat works too, and salmon cakes. A lot of kids, she said a lot of kids like her kids really like those, so that's her go-to. And another family member, mom, she said they do this low-carb pizza casserole, which I thought sounded kind of good myself. And so it'd be cauliflower rice on the bottom, and then you do marinara, so it's like a casserole. So you put the rice on the bottom, and then marinara, and then kind of pizza toppings. But it would be, you know, a way to get a lot of vegetables in there, so very good for you. And so that's all we have today. And so thanks for staying with us a couple minutes longer. We have an evaluation, and then we'll send that to you right after this webinar. And if you have any questions, we will look at the chat box here. And then Kimberly has some fun things coming up if you like the meal planning stuff. You want to talk about that quick, Kimberly?
Yeah, so I have What's in Your Kitchen. So that's kind of a spin-off to the meal planning. It's basically learning to look in your kitchen for what you can actually make. So we're going to be pantry shopping, refrigerator shopping, and also freezer shopping. And then making, I'll be making some meals and showing you some recipes. And then I have the Let's Make Dinner. It's using your Instapot and air fryer, and we are actually going to make dinner together. If you have an air fryer or an Instapot that you've been wanting to use or learn a little bit more about, this will be a class for you. We will actually have a dinner afterwards, so you'll be able to enjoy that with your family at the end.
And then I just have a couple classes. I'm doing some online, and then, you know, just with the university, we're looking at doing some in person later, maybe. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, online, ones I have, Eating for Brain Health, I have that another time. Just one that was supposed to be an in-person class is going online, so it's an option. And Growing and Cooking, highlighting herbs, so that I do that with that horticulture agent. And then Health Benefits of Herbs and Spices, so lots of fun ones, and I'm posting ones. They're always on Eventbrite for me. So if anybody has any questions, they can type them in the chat. I really appreciate all you guys coming today, and happy Avocado Day.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks. And yeah, definitely suggest to family members, would love that a lot. All right. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.